Well, guys, there is going to be a lot of One Piece content if you haven't realized that. I mean, let's be real here. One Piece 2023, it's been cooking. We've been eating. It's insane. The anime has been fantastic. The final saga has been insane. And the live action has done very well. I mean, man, there's still a lot to talk about. But let's kind of go back, way back in time. This video is kind of going to be going all over the place. It was kind of hard for me to make a linear timeline of how things happened. That's just how it is. That's how things are. So, the year is 2005. I have cable, internet, and my first video game console, a VTech V-Smile. One day, I'm bored of playing Mickey's Magical Adventure, and I changed the TV to cable so I can watch Cartoon Network. And I see this.
Navy headquarters to Marie Joie, announcing the arrival of warlords Don Quixote do Flamingo and Bartholomew Puma.
And I'm over here like,
what? What the fuck?
I can't tell you what the 4Kids episode this was. Either they were playing random episodes or something, because I believe, if I remember, that was forever ago. The next episode was Luffy fighting Kuro, and we all know that's not the right sequence of things. So they're probably just playing random One Piece episodes that day. And I remember seeing Chopper after that too at one point. But as confused as I was even back then, I continued watching to a degree. It was more for like background noise when I was reading. But either way, to say I was confused would be an understatement. That's what I'm trying to say here. And being like, what, a 6-7-year-old, I didn't have the mental capacity to look up the show to realize that this was a poorly dubbed anime all the way from Japan. Had I did, I probably would have seen this. Or even better yet, probably this. Maybe. So, let me be clear on one thing. I don't hate the voices for the 4Kids, but the direction was bad. I still could not understand what was really going on, and the jokes they had back then were not that funny.
Your cursed fruit moves are cute, they amuse me. But you use them as if you were ordering from a fast food menu. You put no time or effort into planning your attack. Goodbye, Straw Hat.
No! It's flushing me down like a big toilet!
Toilet. A lovely way to describe it, Straw Hat. That makes you desert doo-doo. There's water under all that sand. Sucks everything down. Flush down a toilet. What a way to go, huh? Real classy.
Now, I will say that they are kind of funny now, but not like a, ha, that's funny, more like a, oh, wow, I can't believe they said that kind of funny. Now, probably because of not seeing the episodes, probably not in order, and the bad jokes. It was a combination of awful, and it didn't hook me in like it could have. I mean, I continued watching it because there's literally nothing else to do. I had a V-Smile that we had maybe 2 or 3 games on, and at the time, Zoe 101 was on Nickelodeon, and the Doodle Bops was on Disney. And the funny thing is, this is the ironic part, I wasn't fond of Luffy's rubber abilities, because even as a kid, I was like, nah, that's too much, not realistic enough for me. Anyway, let's fast forward to 2021. I'm jumping back and forth here for a good reason. So I discovered that there's an entire history of everything I've ever looked at since 2011 on my Google account, ever since I created my account, which I still have. So of course, over a weekend I went through it just to see if there's any videos still up that I haven't watched since back in the day. I went through a huge nostalgic, rediscovering things I haven't seen in a long time. It was really nostalgic. Anyway, I went through that whole thing over the weekend. The problem is I no longer have the whole thing, as after saving the old stuff I wanted to keep, I kind of just wiped it off. So I have every old video that still exists over all these years. This is where things kind of blew my mind. I could not tell you how or why, but apparently in that history, back in the summer of 2012, I apparently watched the 10th opening of One Piece. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think I know why now. So back then, I watched this really cool little series of Super Smash Brothers. It's probably not as good as I remember it, but it was awesome back then. That's it. It had Japanese openings, and I think because of that, I looked up other Japanese openings. So that's probably why I ran into it. But the thing is, like I said earlier, that Google saved everything I looked up since 2011. The problem is, I don't think it saved literally everything, because even today, I have looked stuff up and it's not in that history, which sucks. So let's jump to 2015, a few months before I graduated. In one of my math classes, a friend of mine was watching something that looked very familiar. It was, of course, One Piece. I couldn't believe it. How could anyone take that show seriously? Because even through all those years, I was still kind of like, man, this thing, that I could not stand it. It was in the back of my head, and I didn't like it. The thing is, I think just anime in general, or cartoons in general, is kind of irritating me, because even then, I was a huge Pokemon fan, and I mean, I still am, but at that time, I could not even stand the anime for it. And I guess that explains why I started watching some, like, quote-unquote real-life shows at the time. And I'm glad that happened, because if it weren't for that, I probably wouldn't have started watching Doctor Who or Burn Notice. Now, here the funny thing is, I started watching the X, Y, and Z anime for Pokemon. Oh, it's so good. That's peak Pokemon anime right there. Anyway, the funny thing is, 8 years ago after graduating, and it's me and my friend from back then work together now. After 8 years. And it's even more funnier that I'm caught up before he was. He started watching it well before I finally gave it a second chance. But he's catching up now. I think the last time at this point of the recording, I think he is at post-war arc. So, when did I finally give One Piece a chance? The year is 2019. So, for a few years, I worked at a certain place until it was under new ownership. Around a year after that, he fired me. I won't get into it. It was kind of weird. But, that's besides the point. Several months go by, and he's run the place so badly, the original owner got it back. And in turn, I got my job back. I decided that I finally want to start this huge bucket list of anime I wrote over the past few years. I came across Crunchyroll. For a while, I had the free account, and the first one I watched wasn't even on the bucket list. It was My Hero Academia. I think at the same time they had just started season 3, so I watched that on top of Konosuba. Since I had the free version, there would be ad breaks. Take a wild guess on which anime they kept showing. Did you guess One Piece? Wrong! It was Tensura. All they kept showing was a little slime cutting a large snake in half, and I was like, yeah, I'm instantly hooked. I want to see that right now. Now, the second most used trailer I saw was One Piece. The scene they used was not helping, though, because when I saw this, I'm thinking, who is this weird egg-shaped plant girl? They were showing Flampe. Let me be honest, I wasn't impressed. Imagine this was the poster they only showed to try to get you to watch One Piece. Would you watch it? A few months go by, I'm now subscribed to Crunchyroll, and I'm going through the anime bucket list like it's butter. While doing this, I'm getting really hooked on anime songs. Something I did a lot, especially in the previous house I lived in, was to go outside and listen to music. Since 2012, I have been brainstorming and working on a large-scale story, and doing this helped. Listening to music, thinking of scenes in your head, yeah, it helps a lot. Throughout that time, I ran into one of the openings of One Piece. It was the newest one at the time, which was over the top. So when I'm listening to music, when I'm brainstorming on this story, I would walk around, right? But for this one time, I'm looking at it, and I actually stop, like, in the middle of nothing. And I rewatched the opening like 3 or 4 times. I couldn't get past my mind that this was One Piece. And so I sat down and I looked a few things up. Did I get spoiled? Yes. Especially with the death of the Going Merry. I somehow did not get spoiled by Ace's death. Insane. I know, it's hard to believe, even for me. But I think I would still act this way, even if I had known he was going to die. But throughout the entire of, like, the Marineford arc, or even before then, when we found out that Ace was going to be executed, I was like, oh, we're going to save him. We're going to see Ace again, we're going to save him. And anyway, with that being said, I realized that I think even to this day, the coolest thing about One Piece is the long-term storytelling, and how just about everybody in this show is connected one way or another. As somebody who has been writing a story like that, I thought it would be a good idea to watch it so I can get some ideas, because I was going through a really rough writer's block at the time. It's just crazy that, in a way, One Piece has been throughout my life, whether I wanted it to or not. And the reason I gave it a second chance was because I wanted to get out of a writer's block from my own story. Now, had I not quit YouTube at the time, I would have recorded my reactions when I started like everybody else. And as time went by, an incident occurred. Specifically with a YouTuber by the name of Totally Not Mark. At this time, I was getting ready to finish Dressrosa. When I saw how Toei Animation was treating the situation, I was pretty upset and kind of scared. So I pulled the plug on the One Piece anime videos and continued to watch it on my own time. Of course, all that has been fixed and blown over. However, I was caught up with the anime and started reading the manga from the beginning. Some time passes and I read the newest chapter, which was at the time chapter 1041. Things are getting crazy in the world of One Piece and in my personal life, which that video on its own has been made already. I am getting so hyped. I wanted to make a video, but I decided against it. I had the feeling the end of Wano was going to be soon, so I waited till then, but it got crazy. Crazier than I thought. We all knew Kaido was going to be defeated. I don't think anybody was prepared for chapter 1043 though. Luffy is Joy Boy. First mentioned in chapter 628, 415 chapters in between. Joy Boy returned. Soon after, Gear 5 happens, and after that, Kaido's defeat. At the time, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. So, it's been over a year since that has happened. What are my thoughts now? It was awesome. I have a lot of theories, but that is for another video. Anyway, Gear 5 made me a hypocrite. Years ago, I considered Luffy's rubber abilities too cartoonish and too childish, even for me, a 7-8-year-old. Now I think Sun God Nika's powers are the most ridiculous powers in the world, in the best way possible. With that being said, I have found it funny that people complained that One Piece was too serious after the time skip, complained that Gear 5 was too childish. Are we reading the same story? Luffy always had Nika's abilities ever since the beginning. Look at this. It was spelled out right in front of us. After he ate the devil fruit, he sticks to rubber-based attacks because of what Shanks told him. Had Shanks told Luffy that he could do anything he could think of, I think the story wouldn't go the way it is going. Imagine a 7-year-old doing whatever he wants. He could do whatever he wants and it would come true. It would be insane. Now, there was a bit of a backlash due to the Hiyori scene in chapter 1044, but here's a hot take. I did not mind it at all. I get it, really, I get it.
Oh yes, I've always said Odin was a great samurai. As Shogun, I can ensure his legacy is recognized. Your father... Hold your tongue, you miserable bitch! I'm Kozuki Hiyori!
From time to time, I would re-watch arcs to see if there are any other hints about things, and I am shocked by some parts that went right over my head at the time. And that's one of the reasons I read One Piece. Going over it again shows you just how much Oda is so good at foreshadowing and telling stories without telling you until the time is right. So I wrote part of this script nearly a year ago because I wanted to wait until the last scenes of Wano were animated. So let's watch all of those right now. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. The anime was better than the manga. The manga was hype, but they went all out on the anime for the last chapters of Wano. It was insane. Gotta say, the anime was actually better than I thought it would be. Really. I always thought when Luffy awakened his devil fruit, it was creepy. And they did that very well in the anime. I don't know if others felt this way, but I definitely did. This panel kind of creeps me out too. And I guess because we know it's Luffy, but at the same time it isn't, I think. Perhaps his devil fruit was semi-taking Luffy over like a Zoan would, because they would take control just like the ones you saw in Impel Down. Anyway, I think it's absolutely insane that I've kind of gotten full circle on my One Piece videos. Stopped making anime reactions to One Piece to starting reading the manga to making One Piece manga videos. Now I'm talking about the end of Wano again because they finally animated it. Oh my god, it's insane. What's even crazier, this scene right here, going back to that first scene I saw, Kuma. He seemed pretty important when we saw him being part of the 7 warlords. I don't remember what they were called in the 4 Kids, but he was one of the 7 warlords, so he must have been important. And then we really see what he is about. And then we really see what he's about years later. One Piece has gone full circle. It's insane. I love this stuff. This stuff is insane. It's been... Oh my god. I don't know how to end this video. Because, you know, like I said, past few years has been pretty rough. And we're kind of at the... the final act. The final saga of all this crap. And it's... One Piece, along with the Owl House, has been kind of there for me, trying to... you know, looking to keep me going in a way. It's not like if I didn't have it, I couldn't keep going, but it surely helped. But yeah, that's all I really had to say about this video. There's more I want to talk about, but that's for another video. So if you liked the video, like it, subscribe if you haven't, hit that bell icon so you know when I upload the next video. Comment down below. You know, when did you start One Piece? Where are you at? I hope I didn't spoil anything for you guys if you're not caught up. I'm sorry if I did. I truly apologize. Oh, there is that one thing. Anybody caught up or catching up, getting ready to catch up? We are in the golden era of One Piece because once the chapter releases on what the One Piece is and what Luffy's true dream is, it's gonna explode like a wildfire. And people getting ready, just getting started, are going to be spoiled by it. I guarantee it. Us people caught up are in the golden age of One Piece. Anyway, see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.